Wildcats. First, we're visiting Towson University. A senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Katie McGrady. A sophomore from Central Ohio, Zoe Packard. A junior from Albany, New York, Mary L. Ardrano. A sophomore from Nassau, North Carolina, Allie Wesley. A sophomore from Smithville, Ontario, Melissa Campos. A senior from Frederick, Maryland, Tyra McKellar. A junior from Salisbury, Maryland, Brittany McIntyre. A freshman from Gymnastics, New Jersey, Tess Zientak. A freshman from Pembroke Pines, Florida, Tyler Gamble. A senior from Western Maryland, Lauren Cavalli. A junior from Staten Island, New York, Aaron Tucker. A senior from Nassau, North Carolina, Gabby DeRusi. A sophomore from Santa Monica, California, Olivia Kowarski. A senior from Williamsburg, Illinois, Noel Carrada. A junior from Andover, Massachusetts, Courtney Baker. Vicki May is the head coach. She is assisted by Jay Ramirez. The student manager is Amanda Pratt, and the athletic trainer is Courtney Martin. Gymnasts, please move to your first event. Wildcats. Sophomore from Georgetown, Massachusetts, Emma Weiner. Senior from Mount Laurel, New Jersey, Marissa Tosi. Freshman from St. Louis, Pennsylvania, Lauren Giddens. Junior from Lowell, Massachusetts, Mimi Traore. Junior from Newtown, Connecticut, Nicole O'Leary. Freshman from Junior from Buffalo, New York, Courtney Mondanza. Freshman from Seoul, New Jersey, Kylie Traxwell. Junior from Metro Woods, New Jersey, Danielle Gould. Junior from Farmingdale, New York, Danielle Mulligan. Sophomore from South Connecticut, Riley Freeling. Senior from New York, Pennsylvania, Leah Breeden. Junior from Gary, New Hampshire, Brittany Capozzi. Freshman from Trumbull, Connecticut, Claire Hipford. Senior co-captain from Merrimack, New Hampshire, Mackenzie Kiroak. And a senior from Hampton, Massachusetts, Elizabeth Mahoney. New Hampshire is coached by head coach Gail Grigsby. Lindsay Brockett is associate head coach, and Sonny Martin is assistant coach. Ed Deadeye is the volunteer coach. Dan Seguri is the athletic trainer. Joshua Point, Anna Marsh, Sarah Mauser, and Maddie Zimmerman are the student athletic trainers. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise for the playing of the United States National Anthem. Gymnasts, please prepare for your first event. This evening's meet will be run with 2 events with alternating performances. UNH begins vaulting and Towson starts on beam bars. All events will have a 2-minute transition between events and a 4-minute touch.
Big jump, big jump.
Begin your touch. Judges for tonight's meet are Mary Hoagland, chief judge on vault and floor. Christine Dalrymple, secondary judge on vault and beam. Gail McGann, chief judge on bars and beam. And Christine Shaw, secondary judge on bars and floor. Our main referee is Ruth Morse. Fans, please be aware that for the safety of the athletes, flash photography is not permitted during the competition. However, spectator enthusiasm is required and noise is allowed. We encourage you to cheer for the participants and to cheer for exciting performances. And anytime UNH gymnasts score a 9.8 or higher.
Welcome everybody, this is Justine Turner coming to you live from Lundholm Gymnasium at the University of New Hampshire. Tonight, the Wildcats take on EAGL conference opponent, the Towson University Tigers. These are two teams that are familiar with each other as they have already met at the first meet of the season, with UNH edging out Towson. UNH scoring a 194.175 to Towson's 193.8. Tonight is UNH's annual Stick It for the Cure meet, where the UNH gymnasts will don their pink accented leotards to show their support of those affected by breast cancer. The Wildcats are coming off of their season-high 196.175 win versus North Carolina last weekend and are looking to continue that momentum tonight at home. The Wildcats were led by some very impressive performances on all four events, highlighted by a 49.225 team beam score, which was capped off by senior Casey Lauder's 9.95, which marks the third highest beam score in the country this season, and first ranked in the EAGL Conference. The performance led to Lauder being named the well-deserved EAGL Conference Specialist of the Week for the second time this season. Junior Danielle Mulligan continued her dominant performances on the uneven bars, scoring a 9.925, which ties her for fifth highest in school history, and junior Nicole O'Leary had an almost perfect stuck vault that scored an impressive 9.875. Last week, Towson visited Pittsburgh, where they came in fourth place at the quad meet with a 192.05. Towson was led by sophomore Melissa Temkov, who notched career highs on bars with a 9.775, and in the all-around with a 38.475. Senior Katie McGrady also had a strong performance on bars, leading the Tigers with a 9.825. Senior Tyra McKellar will be counted on for her strong performances on beam, where she notched a 9.75 last week, and floor, where she led Towson last week with a 9.825. The Tigers will look to Temkov and junior all-arounder Mary L. Arduino to improve their season-high team score of a 194.275. The Wildcats are led by UNH legend Gail Goodspeed, who is in her 39th year as head coach at UNH Gymnastics. Under her lead, UNH has made the postseason 36 times in her 38 years as head coach. Joining Gail is Lindsey Bruck Ayotte, a former University of Michigan standout and two-time All-American. Sunny Marchand, a former Bowling Green State University gymnast, is in her first year as assistant coach at UNH. Last but certainly not least, Ed Dadai is in his 37th season on the coaching staff. The Tigers' fearless leader is Vicki May, who is in her 8th year as head coach of Towson. May was recognized as NACGCW Southeast Regional Head Coach of the Year and led the Tigers to a 6th place finish at Eagles last year. Alongside May is assistant coach Jay Ramirez, who is in his 3rd year coaching at Towson.
That concludes your talk. Judges, please take control of your event.
The Wildcats will start off on vault, where they scored a 48.9 last week, and the Towson Tigers will start out on bars, where they scored a 48.85 last week. First up for the Cats is junior Courtney Bondanza from Buffalo, New York. She competes a Yurchenko layout full, and last week she scored a 9.75 on it. And a great vault for Courtney. She landed with her chest a little low, so had to take a small step forward, but a good start for the Cats on vault. Starting the Tigers on bars will be local girl Courtney Baker, who's from Andover, Massachusetts, who scored a 9.775 last week. Tonight's competition is a dual meet format, which means that there are 2 teams competing. 6 girls will go up on each event with the top 5 scores counting and making the team score. UNH will start on vault, head to bars, beam, and floor. And Towson will start on bars, head to vault, floor, and finish up on beam tonight. And here goes Courtney. Kip cast handstand to a shaposh. An extra tap swing there to a nice pack salto. She will get some deductions on that extra tap swing there. Beautiful handstand on the high bar. Giant full to a double tuck with a stuck landing. Decent routine for Courtney. Again, she did have that extra swing in there that she will get deducted for, but a good start for Towson on bars. Next up on vault for the Cats is junior Danielle Doolin. Last week she scored a 9.725. She does a Yurchenko full as well. Danielle's looking really to get some height on that, but a great landing for Danielle, taking it just a small step backwards. Next up on bars for the Tigers is senior Katie McGrady. She is from Allison Park, Pennsylvania, and last week she notched a 9.825. Looks like Danielle Doolin will match her score from last week, scoring a 9.725. Taking a minute to get Courtney's score on bars. And here we go with Katie McGrady. Clear hip handstand. To an overshoot handstand, a little archy there, connected to an immediate toe peck to the high bar. And a double layout dismount with a small hop back. A good routine for Towson. Next up on vault is junior Erin Carroll from, Next up is Marissa Tosi, a senior from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Last week she scored a 9.75 on this vault. It has a blind landing. She'll look for that landing. A little short. It looks like she opened up, was really going for the stick on that landing, and was forced to take a step back. But a solid vault for Marissa. Next up on bars for Towson will be junior Mary L. Arduino from Albany, New York. She scored a 9.725 previously this season. She did not compete bars last weekend. Courtney Baker started the Tigers off with a 9.125, so she did get a deduction for that extra swing there. It looks like Marissa will score a 9.725 as well. Courtney Bondanza started the Wildcats off with a 9.675. Looks like Katie McGrady will go 9.65 for her bar routine as we get ready for Marielle. Cast handstand to a Tkachev right away. Nice handstand on the high bar. Toe handstand. Overshoot handstand. As Marielle gets ready for her dismount, finds a handstand on high bar. Blind change full. Looks like her hand was just a little off. She was forced to bend her knees and come down off of the bar. She will have 30 seconds to chalk up and get back on the bar. The bar judges will be looking for those handstands, really finding vertical in those handstands, as well as height on the release moves and dismount, and really finding those stuck landings. As Marielle gets back up. Tries the blind full again. Much better this time to a double tuck. Had to take a step back. That will put some pressure on the rest of the lineup for Towson. Now on vault for the Wildcats, we will see junior Erin Carroll. She does a front pike half, and last week she scored a 9.8 on it. This is a fairly new vault for Erin. For her first time competing it this year. This season is her first time competing it. And she will look to really stay clean in the air and find her landing. Good vault for Erin. She did have that leg separation as she kicked out at the end and landed with her chest a little low. But that vault starts from a 10-0. So Erin will look to improve that form as the season goes on and as she gets more comfortable with that vault. Next up for the Tigers on bars will be Tess Zientek. She is a freshman from Holmdel, New Jersey, and last week she scored a 9.8 on bars. Erin Carroll matched her score last week of a 9.8 on her vault. Tess mounts. Clear hip to handstand. Hop to those hands to reverse grip. Good save. Front giant. Overshoot handstand. She was a little bit past the handstand on that overshoot. A little shy on the handstand on the high bar. Blind change full to a double tuck and a small hop back. A good comeback after the fall from Mario. Next up on vault will be junior Nicole O'Leary from Newton, Connecticut. She did an amazing vault last week, a front handspring, front pike. The vault starts from a 9.9, but Nicole's technique and height is unmatched. And she sticks it again, the same excellent vault that she did last week. The way she finds that landing is uncanny. It is unbelievable to watch that. Next up on bars for Towson will be freshman Kyla Gamble. She is from Pembroke Pines, Florida, and she did not compete last week but scored a 9.775. It looks like Nicole will get what would be her perfect 10. Her vault only starts from a 9.9 and she scores a perfect score on that of a 9.9. It doesn't get any better than that, and the crowd is going wild. All of Nicole's teammates are very excited for her. It looks like the bar judges will have to conference over Tessa's score. And they can either have a difference of start value, or if their scores are a little bit too far apart, they'll conference just to see where that difference is at and try to get on the same page. It looks like Tess will go 9.675 on bars as Kyla gets ready to mount. Hip cast handstand, toe handstand. Toe on shaposh to the high bar. Absolutely beautiful overshoot handstand. This is a beautiful routine so far. Kyla has long legs, so everything she does looks very pretty. Toe handstand, Stalder handstand, double tuck. She does have to take the step back, but that was a very nice routine for Kyla. Finishing up for the Wildcats on vault is senior Liz Mahoney, who is from Hanson, Massachusetts. This is her first time in the vault lineup this year. She competed exhibition versus George Washington and scored a 9.7. She has a huge Yurchenko full and sticks the landing. That was a great vault for Liz and a great vault rotation for the Wildcats. That Yurchenko full starts from a 9.95, but Liz does it very well. Finishing up for Towson on bars will be senior Tyra McKellar. She was not in the lineup last week, but scored a 9.825 previously this season, so we'll be looking to match that. And Tyra will follow Kyla's 9.725. Line change. Huge Jaeger. She catches a little close to the bar. Giant. To a huge pack as well. Half pirouette, toe circle. And finds a handstand on high bar. Blind change to a ginormous double front and sticks the landing. That was an excellent routine for Towson to finish up on bars. And Liz Mahoney did end up going 9.825 on her vault. Because it is a dual meet, each team can put up an exhibition on each event. So the Wildcats put in Claire Hanford, who does a Yurchenko full stuck Claire is a freshman, and she has not been in the vault lineup this year, but with a stuck vault like that, she might crack the lineup one of these days very soon. And Towson will also have an exhibition. They will have Melissa Temkov, a sophomore from Ontario, Canada, who scored a 9.775 in the lineup last week. UNH will finish vault with a tentative 48.975, an unofficial score, which is an excellent vault score for the Cats to start out. Toe handstand for Melissa to a shaposh and immediate overshoot. A little shy on that handstand. Toe handstand blind full to a double tuck. Lands with her chest a little low, but that is a solid routine for the Tigers. And maybe Melissa will be able to get back into that lineup with a routine like that. Going into the second rotation, the Wildcats will have a lead over Towson. Wildcats unofficially scoring a 48.975 on vault, while the Towson Tigers scored an unofficial 47.975 on bars. UNH was led by that huge vault from Nicole O'Leary that scored a 9.9. And also by Liz Mahoney, who got back into that lineup and stuck that vault for 9.825. Towson was led by Tyra McKellar, who scored 9.8. The teams will head to their next event and will have a 3-minute touch before they start competing.
And fans also keeping an eye on the UNH sticks rotation. UNH had 2 sticks on vault in the first rotation. Okay, Wildcat fans, it's time for a crowd favorite, the Wildcat Handstand Competition. Today we have Ava, Carolina, Leah, Kennedy, Bella, and Claire, all from Phantom Gymnastics. It's quite simple, really. Our 6 contestants will try to hold a handstand as long as they can. After one person falls, she will be eliminated from the competition. We will continue until there is just one contestant standing. Okay, contestants, are you ready? Go! And there it is, we have a winner. And she's still going. Congratulations to Ava of Phantom Gymnastics. She has won 2 movie passes to Cinematic. Let's give a round of applause for all our contestants for their impressive efforts.
As we head to the second rotation, UNH will be on bars, where they scored a 49.125 last week. The bar lineup will include Danielle Doolin, sophomore Ava Watkins, sophomore Riley Freeling, freshman Lauren Diggin, senior Mackenzie Kerouac, and junior Danielle Mulligan. Danielle Mulligan leads the Eagle Conference on bars. She scored a huge 9.925 last week. On vault for Towson, it looks like they will start with Marielle Arduino, followed by Gabby Arusi, Erin Tucker, Kyla Gamble, Courtney Baker, and finish off with Tyra McKellar. They scored a 47.425 on vault last week and will be looking to improve that score. Both teams are finishing up their touch warm-up, and we will get started very shortly on the second rotation.
That concludes your touch. Judges, please take control of your event. Starting vault for Towson is Tyra McKellar.
Tigers are ready to go. First up is Marielle, and she will be doing a Yurchenko tuck full vault, which starts from a 9.9. She has previously scored a 9.625 on this. And she does a great vault, a little bit of leg separation when she landed and did take a step back, but a good start for Towson. Over to bars, we will have Danielle Doolin, who scored a 9.75 last week. Blind change. Straddle Yeager. She was a little too far away and couldn't hold on to the bar. She gets back up. She will try to finish her routine strong here. Overshoot handstand, slight leg separation. Line change full. Double tuck. Finishes a strong bar routine. Wildcats will look to drop that score with the other 5 competitors. Back to vault, we will have Gabby Arusi, who scored a 9.575 on vault last week. The vault judges will conference first. We are ready for Gabby. Yurchenko layout full. Great job. She does take a hop backwards, but a good vault for Gabby. Next up on bars is sophomore Ava Watkins from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. She scored a 9.7 on bars last week, and she will be looking to erase that fall from Danielle. Straddle Jaeger, slightly close to the bar. Line change, straddle back handstand. Little archy when she caught there. Little shy on her high bar handstand. Ava has a beautiful dismount, double layout. And a little hop, a little bounce around on the landing, but a great comeback after Danielle's fall. Back over to vault for Towson is Erin Tucker. She is a junior from Staten Island, New York, and she scored a 9.45 on vault last week. Erin does Yurchenko full as well. A little leg separation in the air and a hop backwards for Erin's vault, but that should score better than her 9.45 from last week. Next up on bars for the Wildcats is sophomore Riley Freeling from Southington, Connecticut. She will be following Ava's 9.725, and Riley scored a 9.875 last week. Riley mounts over. Looks like she missed her hand and had to take an extra swing. Blind change. Pike Jaeger, beautiful Pike Jaeger. Finds her handstand before her overshoot to handstand. And is getting ready for her dismount. Good handstand on high bar. Double layout. And a college stick did take a step backwards, but saluted the judge as she did it. A good finish after a interesting start for her bar routine. Next up on vault for the Tigers will be Kyla Gamble. She was not in the vault lineup last week, but she has scored a 9.725 on her vault. Yurchenko layout half, a blind landing. She landed a little low, squatted down a little bit low on the landing and took a step forward. But a good vault for Kyla. Next up on bars, we will get our first look at freshman Lauren Diggin from Sinking Spring, Pennsylvania. Last week, she recorded a 9.875 on bars as well. And she's going to follow Riley's 9.575. So she did take a deduction there for that extra swing at the beginning. As Lauren mounts. Lauren does an interesting combination right here off the bat. She goes hop full to an immediate ginger, which is so interesting and unique. Blind half, I'm sorry, to a straddle back handstand. Finds her handstand on her high bar. Look for the landing and sticks the landing. A great routine for the freshman. Next up on vault for Towson is Courtney Baker. She scored a 9.625 on this vault last week. And she just does a tuck Yurchenko. I don't believe that was what she was supposed to be doing, so she will, her score will be off for sure. And Lauren Dagan scores a huge 9.9. A great job for the freshman. Next up, we have senior Mackenzie Kerouac. She is capable of a big score here. She has a huge Tkachev. Had a little trouble on bars last week, so we'll definitely be ready to make up for that. Starts off with her blind full. Here's that huge Tkachev. Beautiful. Finds a handstand to her pack salto, which is so pretty to watch. And she's getting ready for her dismount. Handstand on high bar. Blind full to a double tuck with a one step back, and that was a beautiful routine for senior Mackenzie. Finishing up Towson on vault will be Tyra McKellar. She has a 10.0 start value on her vault, and she is capable of scoring a big score as well. 9.825 is her season high. She does a Yurchenko full on tuck off. So it's a unique vault, and she does it beautifully. A little hop back at the end. Last up for the Wildcats on bars will be sophomore Danielle Mulligan. She is a junior from Farmingdale, New York, and she scored a huge 9.925 last week. She has an extremely difficult routine, doing an eagle grip giant to a Jaeger, an immediate overshoot, and finishing with a beautiful full-in dismount. The Wildcats will really be looking to Danielle to hit this routine so they can drop that low score from the beginning. And Mackenzie Kerouac went 9.85 on her nice bar set. Handstand on high bar. Here's that eagle grip giant. Beautiful. Pike Jaeger. Immediate overshoot, absolutely gorgeously done from Danielle. Handstand on high bar. Find this dismount, and she takes a step back. Other than that, that routine was absolutely flawless. A big, big comeback for the Wildcats on bars. Towson will finish vault unofficially with a 48.75, led by Tyra McKellar's 9.825 and Gabriella Yarusi's 9.825. Danielle Mulligan scores a 9.875 on bars.
Teams, please move to your third event. In the third rotation, UNH begins on B, Towson on floor. Begin the 2-minute transition.
The Wildcats will finish bars unofficially with a 48.925, and they will have a 97.9 after 2 events going into the 3rd rotation. Towson will finish with a 48.75 on vault, and unofficially they will have a 96.725 going into the 3rd rotation. UNH was led by freshman Lauren Diggins, scoring a 9.9, and Danielle Mulligan scoring that 9.875.
Begin your touch. Up in the crowd with a few other contestants who are going to get their groove on during the shawny shaking competition. The back crew has selected 3 more contestants to tell us that they all have great dance moves, but we're going to ask our audience to help us decide. Okay, folks, we have Jericho from Danville, Casey, and Addison Taylor from Phantom Gymnastics. Now all we need is a little music.
Heading into the 3rd rotation, the Wildcats will be on beam, where they scored a massive 49.225 last week. Their lineup will consist of Danielle Doolin, Leah Breeden, Courtney Bondanza, Riley Freeling, Danielle Mulligan, and Casey Lauder. On floor, the Tigers scored a 48.125 last week, and their lineup will consist of Courtney Baker, Lauren Callan, Mary L. Arduino, Gabby Yarusi, Katie McGrady, and Melissa Temkov.
Okay, man. Who really showed us how to cut it up? We need you to help us decide with your applause. Was it Jericho? Was it Casey? Was it Addison? Or was it Taylor? It looks like we have a winner. Congratulations, Jericho! Well, the ski pass for you showing peak in Bridgeton, Maine, New England's best ski resort that offers both day and night skiing. Thanks to all of our contestants for participating in our Shine Shake It. And as a team change events, we would like to suggest that the audience stand up and stretch. There will not be an intermission. In this open second rotation, Towson had an unofficial team score on vault of 48.75, and UNH on bars had a team score of 48.925. Through 2 rotations, Towson University 96.72. switches.
Both teams finish up their touch, and we will start on beam with Danielle Doolin. Danielle started the Cats off extremely strong last week, scoring a 9.8. Danielle has really cleaned up her form and has really taken on this leadership role in the starting lineup.
First up for UNH on beam, Danielle Doolin.
Looking more and more confident each time. Solid full turn for Danielle. Here's our acro series, back handspring step out, layout step out, solid. A little bit of leg form on that. Danielle is looking confident. Cat leap to front toss, again, super solid. Switch leap. Split jump, back tuck. As Danielle gets ready for her dismount. Back handspring step out, 1.5 stuck landing. A great routine for Danielle in that starting spot for the Cats. She's really taken on that role and done amazing with that. First up for Towson on floor is Courtney Baker. Last week she scored a 9.65. Torjete full for Courtney. Here's Courtney's first tumbling pass. Front tuck step out through to a double tuck. Beautiful landing, and she shows off the control on her landing there. You can see Courtney's teammates dancing with her on the sidelines as she gets ready for her next pass. A double pike, beautifully done. Again, shows off the stuck landing there. A wonderful routine for Courtney to start off the Tigers on floor. Next up on beam is senior Leah Breeden from York, Pennsylvania. She scored a 9.775 last week. What I love about Leah's routine is her presentation. She looks confident the entire way through and shows off every last detail. Switch leap, straddle 3/4. Nicely done. It's her acro series. Front aerial, one arm back handspring. Was a slightly slow connection there. The judges should still give it to her. Full turn. She is following Danielle's 9.7 to start the Cats. She does a difficult sheep jump to a beat jump. As she gets ready for her dismount. She also does a back handspring step out to 1.5 and another stuck landing. Great 1-2 start for the Wildcats on beam. Next up on floor for Towson is Lauren Cahalan. She is a senior from Reisterstown, Maryland, and she scored a 9.75 on floor last week. She is following Courtney's awesome 9.8 to start the Tigers. She starts with a front double full, a little bit of loose form in the air, but a nice landing. Again, you see her teammates dancing with her on the sideline. It makes your routine so much more fun when you can look and see them there. Whip half to a front layout, shows off the landing. In the floor routine, the judges are looking for big tumbling, controlled landings, good form, and artistry. They want the girls to look like they're having fun out there. She finishes with a front 1.5. And a great routine for Lauren. It looks like the beam judges are going to conference for a minute. So we will have to wait for Leah's score and for the next Wildcat, which up next is Courtney Bondanza. She scored a 9.85 last week, and Courtney has really grown into a confident beam worker. Judges' conference is over. It looks like Leah will go 9.65 for that beam routine. As Courtney prepares for her mount. Courtney gets ready for her acro series, front aerial, back handspring step out, done beautifully. Full turn. Her front toss to a beat jump, done beautifully, super solid. As she gets ready for her dismount. Oh, I'm sorry, for her switch leap. Straddle quarter. Now she will get ready for her dismount. Which is a cartwheel, gainer full. She does take a step back, but a solid routine for Courtney on beam. Next up on floor for Towson is Mary L. Arduino. She did not compete floor last week, but she is capable of a big score. She scored a 9.85 previously this season. And she will be following Lauren's 9.725. She starts off her first pass, double tuck. Again, very controlled landing, solid start. Front handspring, front layout, front half to a double stag jump. Wolf jump 1.5. Towson to a switch leap, fulfilling her leap requirement. As she breathes for her last pass. She'll end with a 1.5 front layout. The front layout was a little low, so she will get a deduction for that, but a good routine for Marielle. Next up on beam will be Riley Freeling. Riley scored a 9.85 last week. And she will be following Courtney's 9.8. She starts off with her acro series right away. Back handspring step out, layout, step out to a beat jump. She makes it extra unique by adding that extra beat jump in there, and she does it so beautifully. The judges will really appreciate that. Cat leap to a front toss and beat jump again. Riley is looking confident up there. Cat leap, switch leap, back tuck. Riley breathes, takes her last breath before her dismount. Round off, 1.5, and she sticks it. I honestly don't know where the judges are going to get any deductions in that routine. That was so beautifully done from Riley. Next up on floor for the Tigers is Gabby Yarusi. She has not competed floor yet this season, so she will be looking to show them that she is capable of pulling a big score. She starts with a front double full. Beautiful landing. Her next pass is a front 1.5. Again, beautifully done. Towson's done a great job of controlling their landings and showing them off. Switch ring to a torchete half. As Gabby gets ready for her last pass, round off 1.5 front layout. Small hop forward, but again, great control. A good routine for Gabby. Next up on beam will be Danielle Mulligan. She will follow Riley's 9.825. Danielle scored a 9.775 last week. Danielle has a unique turn in her routine. She does a double turn, and she does it absolutely beautifully. She starts off with her series, back handspring, layout step out. Slightly tentative on that landing, but stood up and worked through any sort of wobble. Here's that interesting double turn. She does it nicely. Cat leap to a front toss. Switch leap, straddle jump. As Danielle gets ready for her dismount, which is a cat leap to a gainer back pike. Chest down a little bit on the landing, so she did have to take the step forward, but another hit set for UNH. Next up on floor for Towson is Katie McGrady. She will follow Gabby's 9.75, and Katie scored a 9.15 last week. She starts with a double pike. A little over-rotated, pulled that double pike a little bit too much at the end, so took a uncontrolled step out. Second pass, double tuck, a much cleaner landing there. Her required leap series, leap or jump series. Finishes with a 1.5 front layout, a little bit too much power, so she takes a step out of bounds. That will be a deduction for her step out of bounds, but otherwise a solid routine for senior Katie. Finishing up for the Wildcats on beam is Casey Lauder. She had a huge 9.95 last week, and again, she is ranked first in the EAGL conference on beam. She is capable of a big score. Switch leap, straddle quarter. Casey's flexibility is something that she really shows off in this routine. Front aerial, split jump. She gets ready for her series. She does a 3-element flight series, back handspring, step out, layout, step out. A big wobble for Casey. She is forced to put her hands down on the beam, so she will get a big deduction for that. It just looked like she second-guessed herself. As she finishes with a cartwheel gainer full. So not the rotation that the high rotation that the Wildcats had last week, but they did have some solid beam routines in there. They will be looking to get some high scores on floor. Finishing up for the Wildcats the Tigers on floor is Melissa Temkov. She scored a 9.75 last week on her floor routine. Her first pass, double pike. Melissa has some very intense music, and her movements are matching that music. She gets ready for her second pass. Punch front layout, front full. A little uncontrolled on the landing there, but it seems she managed to stay in bounds. She's breathing, getting ready for her last pass. finishes with a double tuck, does stay on her feet, landed with her chest extremely low and took a big step forwards. A solid floor lineup for Towson. And we will now see an exhibition routine from freshman Claire Hamford on beam. Claire has a lot of tricks up her sleeve. She's capable of doing many different moves in her beam routine, which are all unique. So we will see what routine she is showing today. Back handspring step out, layout step out, done very nicely. Switch leap, switch leap. Second switch leap lacked a little bit of height. Full turn. That's one of those interesting skills that Claire can do. She does a side aerial, but lands with 2 feet together. She did take a fall on that, but it is so nice to see her really trying to stand out with those unique skills. As she finishes with a side aerial, tuck full, stuck landing for Claire. UNH will finish unofficially with a beam score of 48.725 and will go into the last rotation with a 146.625 as a team score. Towson finishes floor with an unofficial 48.7, and they will go into beam, their last rotation, with a 145.425 team score. The Tigers were led by Courtney Baker in that start-off spot, scoring a 9.8. And UNH was led by Riley Freeling, scoring a 9.825, and Courtney Bondanza scoring a 9.8.
During that rotation, your Wildcats had 2 members achieve a score of 9.8 or better. That means the Cat Crew and Riley have 2 t-shirts from the loudest fans in the audience. Who wants a t-shirt? Congratulations to Lisa Dahl, who is today's lovely winner. Please, team, claim your prize at the marketing table in the lobby. And to counting scores for the Towson floor, Marielle Arduino, 9.75. Courtney Baker, 9.8. Lauren Cahalan, 9.725. Melissa Temple, 9.675. And Gabby Yarusi, 9.75. For a team total of 4.
Going into the last rotation, the Wildcats lead with a 146.625, 2000's 145.425. The Tigers finish up on beam, and their lineup starts with Tyra McKellar, followed by Melissa Temkov, Lauren Cahalan, Gabriella Yarusi, Mary L. Arduino, and Katie McGrady, and Courtney Baker will exhibition on beam. And on floor, your Wildcats will start with Leah Breeden, followed by Ava Watkins, Nicole O'Leary, Claire Hamford for her first time as a counting floor score, Emma Weiner, and Danielle Doolin with an exhibition by Brittany Capozzi. Towson scored a 47.65 last week on beam, where UNH scored a 48.875 last week on floor. Teams are finishing up their touch on their last event.
That concludes your touch. Judges, please take control of your events. Beginning the 4-minute final rotation for Towson on Mountain team, Tyra McKellar.
Up first for the Tigers on beam is Tyra McKellar. Tyra scored a 9.75 on this event last week. She starts with a very unique acro series, a back handspring swing through to a side semi. I don't know if I've ever seen that acro series before, and she did it very nicely. Cat leap to a full turn. Split jump to a split 3/4. Little bit of leg form on that split 3/4. And a gainer full dismount. A short but sweet routine for Tyra McKellar for the Tigers. First up on floor for the Wildcats is Leah Breeden. She scored a 9.825 last week. Leah's routine, again, her artistry is absolutely beautiful to watch. Leah's first pass, she opens with a huge double pike and sticks the landing. Leah does a beautiful job of making eye contact with pretty much everybody in the gym when she is doing this floor routine, and it makes her that much more exciting and that much more fun to watch. She gets ready for her second tumbling pass. Round off 1.5, front layout, another stack landing for Leah. Her required lead pass, towards a half straddle full. As Leah breathes for her last pass, she will be doing a double tuck. Another stack landing, 3 stack landings for Leah's beautiful floor routine, and that is exactly the start the Wildcats were looking for on floor. Next up on beam for the Tigers is Melissa Temkov. She scored a 9.6 on beam last week. Her acro series, a back handspring, layout 2 foot. Definitely some form and shaping issues throughout that acro series for Melissa. A big wobble for her there. Split jump, beat jump. Leah will match her floor score from last week, starting the Cats off with a 9.825. Melissa has some unique dance skills in this beam routine. Switch side. She will be trying to get her legs back together a little bit more on that landing there. She gets ready for her dismount, which is a punch front layout full, and she sticks her landing as well. Next up for the Wildcats on floor is Ava Watkins. She scored a 9.75 last week. She has recently made a change to her first tumbling pass. She did a front double full for a while, and she changed it to a front 1.5 to a Shushanova, and it is so pretty to watch. Ava's first pass, that front 1.5 to a Shushanova. Round off 1.5 front layout. A little low on the front layout there, but she covered that well. Switch leap. Wolf 1.5. Made sure to get that all the way around. As Ava gets ready for her last pass, she will finish with a front 1.5, done very nicely. And a great second routine for the Wildcats on floor. I'll tell you what, the fans are absolutely loving each one of these floor routines, getting very excited as they finish. Next up on beam for the Tigers is Lauren Cahalan. She scored a 9.025 last week on beam. And she will be following that 9.275 from Melissa Temkov, so they will be hoping to erase that score with the rest of their beam scores. She starts with a split jump, tuck 3/4, done very nicely. Full turn. cat leap, front aerial, back handspring. She was a little slow on that connection. I'm not sure if the judges will give that to her for her acro series or not. Switch ring. That is a very difficult skill. Losing sight of the beam completely as you throw your head back in that ring shape. She finishes with a pike gainer and a good routine that the Tigers will definitely be happy with. Next up on floor is Nicole O'Leary. She scored a 9.85 last week on this event, and she starts with a huge punch double front. Nicole's dynamic music matches her dynamic tumbling. And she is following Ava's 9.775. Here's that first pass. Punch double front. Finds the landing nicely on that one. As Nicole gets ready for her second pass, a punch front full, front tuck. Switch side, straddle full. Again, you can see Nicole's teammates dancing with her as she gets ready for her last tumbling pass. Double tuck, done very nicely. And a great routine for Nicole. She normally does a front layout, full front layout on that second pass. I'm not sure if that will affect her score at all, but we will see. Next up for the Tigers on beam is Gabby Arusi. She scored a 9.7 for them last weekend. Starts off with a difficult leap series, switch leap to a sheep jump. Again, loses sight of the beam entirely, so that is difficult to make sure you get your feet on there. Front aerial. Gabby is moving this routine through this routine absolutely beautifully. Back handspring layout, step out. Gabby looks like she is walking on the floor, like she is not on 4 inches of wood right now. She finishes with a round off 1.5 and a small step forward, but a beautiful routine for the Tigers. Next up on floor for UNH is freshman Claire Hamford from Trumbull, Connecticut. She has not gone into the floor lineup yet this year, but she did exhibition last week and went 9.675. I love the artistry in Claire's routine. Her dance is so unique and she does it so well. It's so fun to watch. Her first pass, a front 1.5. Claire is following Nicole's 9.85, front layout, front full, done very nicely. Switch half, wolf 1.5. Claire breathes, gets ready for her last tumbling pass. Round off 1.5, front pike. Sticks the landing, and that's the way the freshman says, "Coach, I am ready to go in." That was a great routine for Claire on floor. Next up on beam for Towson is Marielle Arduino. She was not in the beam lineup last week, but is capable of a huge score, as previously this season she has scored a 9.9. And she is following Gabby Yarusi's 9.8. Again, a beautiful routine from Gabby there. And Mary L will look to build off of that. Mary has a difficult 3-element series. Back handspring, layout, step out. Oh, she only does 2. I saw her warming up 3 elements, but that was done very nicely. Back handspring, layout, step out for her acro series. Switch leap. Split 3/4. And Mary L finishes with a side aerial, layout full stuck. Beautiful routine for Mary L. Next up for the Wildcats is Emma Weiner. She is a sophomore from Georgetown, Mass. She was not in the floor lineup last week, but she scored a 9.7 versus George Washington. And she is following Claire's 9.825. Emma's first pass, sky high double pike. She does over rotate it. Goes way out of bounds. Straddle full, wolf 1.5. Second pass, round off 1.5 front layout. Switch side wolf jump. Emma gets ready for her last pass. She will finish with a double tuck. Chest a little low on that. That is not the routine Emma was looking for. But hopefully the Wildcats can bounce back from that. Last up on beam for the Tigers is Katie McGrady. Last week she scored a 9.575, and she is following Mary L's 9.775. Hitch kick, switch side. Full turn with a slight bobble. Back handspring, layout step out with a bobble at the end. She did have a little bit of leg form in her, bent legs in her back layout step out. Switch leap, straddle quarter. Katie looks a little nervous up there, just not sure of her landings. Finishes with a round off 1.5, small hop forward, but a solid rotation for the Tigers on beam. And finishing up on floor for the Wildcats is Danielle Doolin. She is looking to rebound from Emma's out of bounds fall. And Danielle is capable of a big number. She has a career high of a 9.9. Danielle starts off with a huge E-level tumbling pass, a full in. And she will get ready for that right here. Sky high and a beautiful landing. Danielle's second tumbling pass, round off 1.5 front layout. Beautiful landing on that as well. I think that's probably the best I've seen Danielle do that second pass. Switch half wall full. As Danielle breathes and gets ready for her last tumbling pass, she finishes with a double tuck done beautifully, and that's the way you come back from a little mistake and you anchor a floor lineup. A great routine for Danielle to close out the meet. Towson will finish the meet unofficially with a 193.975. They were led on beam by Gabriella Yarusi, who scored a 9.8. And their all-around competitor, Marielle Arduino, scored a 38.225. We will be able to get the unofficial score for UNH as soon as we finish up and get Danielle Doolin's score. And competing exhibition for UNH on floor is a junior Brittany Capozzi. She is from Derry, New Hampshire. Danielle Doolin goes 9.875 for her beautiful floor routine. Brittany starts off with a 2.5 punch front. Beautifully done for Brittany. Her teammates dance alongside. Her leap series. Again, Brittany's artistry is beautiful to watch on floor. Whip half front layout. The Wildcats will finish unofficially with a 195.775, led on floor by Nicole O'Leary's 985, Danielle Doolin's 9875, and Claire Hanford and Leah Breeden's 9825s. Brittany ends with a 2.5. A very nice routine for Brittany in that exhibition spot. Looks like Nicole O'Leary from UNH will take the vault title with a 9.9. Lauren Diggin will take the bar title with a 9.9. Riley Freeling will take the beam title with a 9.825. Danielle Doolin will take the floor title with a 9.875. And Danielle Doolin will take the all-around with a 38.325. Again, unofficially, your Wildcats finish with a 195.775 to Towson's 193.975. A great meet for UNH here tonight, and definitely room for improvement in the future. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you next week.
And one final update for those of you present for UNH tonight. Our core rotation for all core exercise was 12 out of 18-6 for a team meet total of 26. Thank you for your support. Fans, we also want to remind you to stick around to meet your Wildcats and get autographed team poster and trading cards. There will be an autograph session on the far side of the gym immediately following the meet. And make sure to join us in Durham next Sunday, February 18th at 1 p.m. as UNH meets Bowling Green for the Faculty and Staff Appreciation Meet. Join us in helping make gymnastics promote academic excellence. The UNH Gymnastics team has established the Katie Baldwin Expression Award in memory of Katie Baldwin. This award will be presented to the gymnasts who best exemplifies team spirit, performance artistry, and personality of Katie Baldwin. We are pleased to present the Katie Baldwin Expression Award tonight to Nicole O'Leary. And here are today's meet results. In the second place time vault from Towson, Gabby DeRusi. From Towson, Tyra McKellar. And from UNH, Elizabeth Mahoney. All three winners recorded a 9.825. And tonight's vault champion with a score of 9.9 from New Hampshire, Nicole O'Leary. On uneven bars, in third place from UNH with a score of 9.85, Mackenzie Kirouac. In second place from UNH with a score of 9.75, Danielle Mulligan. And in first place from your Wildcats with a score of 9.9, Lauren Diggin. On balance beam, and a 2-8 score for second place with a score of 9.8 from Towson, Gabby DeRusi. And from UNH, Courtney Bonanza. And balance beam individual champion tonight from your Wildcats with a score of 9.825, Riley Freeland. And on floor exercise, the 2-way block tie for third place with a score of 9.825 from UNH, Claire Hampford. And also from New Hampshire, Leah Breenan. In second place with a score of 9.85 from UNH, Nicole O'Leary. And in first place with a score of 9.75 from New Hampshire, Danielle Toole. And then we had two competitors in the all-around tonight. In second place with a total score of 38.225 from Towson, score of 193.975 is Towson University. And tonight's top team with a score of 193.